Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with Daily Technical Update. It is Friday and it is the 5th of December. This video is for educational purposes only. There's no advice or recommendation whatsoever intended. It's purely to demonstrate how I try to read the market using technical analysis and my experience as participating in the market for almost 3 decades now. Right, let's get to it. Microsoft, let's have a look at Microsoft that have formed this double top-like pattern here over the course of the summer, and it was confirmed when it closed below the 492, sell off down to the 200 moving average, bounced back up to test the resistance here at 492, and then got rejected. So key will now be, can it crawl higher and take it out and move up to back above 500 if we get a little bit of a Christmas rally, or will it continue lower, take out the lows here from last week? And if it does, well, then there's room down to 456, possibly even lower, because it's not the strongest support, but 456 we could see some, but we could also see it moving lower if that scenario actually plays out. Let's touch upon Tesla a little bit at that 1.6% higher yesterday almost. Continuing its bullish run. Now RSI back above 60 threshold, indicating higher levels for Tesla that could challenge the previous all-time highs there, just around 472. Sorry, that's not all-time high. All-time high was back there in when was that? That was back. Oh, it's covering that. That was back there in December 24, so about a year ago. The overall markets and index, Nasdaq 100, basically unchanged yesterday, tested once again the key resistance there at 25,663, just a few pips from it, as we can see here, just below. So RSI rejected at 60 threshold. So that's key here towards these levels here, this level here, the next few days. Will it be rejected or will it take it out? Pre-market, it has already taken it out. So let's see. Here we have the future, the mini future that could push it higher, but RSI still not above 60 threshold. So that would be key towards what will it do. Will it push higher or won't it do that? Here we have the CFD. Currently it's also pushing higher, but still RSI below 60 threshold, and it needs to close above that to confirm the bullish trend. The S&P 500, same picture really, same picture there, 6,870 is the resistance, very close to the RSI 60 threshold. That is the pivot point for whether it is in a positive sentiment or not. Pre-market also a tad high, about 0.25% here on the mini future, but we're not just there yet. The Russell 2000, new all-time high close. RSI above 60 threshold, indicating higher levels. So we are in a positive sentiment, indicating higher levels, back above the cloud, above the 55 moving average. So small caps money seems to be running into small caps at the moment. In the Asian market, Seng. Well, basically this sideways picture here in the bigger picture. So not really any clear direction. Needs to get back above the cloud and take out at least this little spike up there at 26,264 and close above that. If it does, well, then I think we could see uptrend resuming. Nikkei future. And let's just adjust this a little bit so we can see what's going on. Remove this one. So it seems like we are re-establishing the bullish trend. RSI just needs to get back above 60 threshold. It's probably been testing it yesterday, but we are still in a positive sentiment, indicating we could see it pushing higher. We can also see slightly uptrend here, higher high, higher low, higher high. So it's already in session as long as it stays above 48,000. European, yeah, we are in a bullish move here on EuroStoxx50. above 5,700. I think we can see it pushing higher in the coming weeks. The RSI is currently just below 60 threshold, but it has been above and never closed below 40 since it got above. So we are still in a positive sentiment. It's just divergence, meaning a little bit fragile. But if it can close back above 60 threshold, well, then there's potential for further advancement for EUROStoxx50 and also possibly new all-time highs. Pre-market up a bit, about 0.25%. DAX also higher yesterday, still struggling to really establish a bullish trend, but it could be dragged higher if these positive wins also lands on the other DAX constituents. Still, I want to see it above the cloud. That is a key resistance here, just around 24,000. Pre-market up just a tad. Let's see if it can crawl high in the coming days. I think it will, but let's see. It's not a correct recommendation to buy or sell. Euro dollar. A little bit of setback yesterday, but still positive sentiment. We had the RSI that closed above 60 threshold. We could see it crawling higher towards 117 and a quarter here the next going into next week. The 55 still dragging on it a little bit, so I think maybe a little bit of sideways, but since it got back above 116.55, it has established a bullish trend, higher high, higher low, higher high, and could crawl higher. Sterling dollar rejected at the 100 moving average and the 786 retracement at 133.73. And a little bit of setback. If it takes out the peak yesterday at 133.86, then I think we'll see a push up to the area around 135. RSI positive sentiment indicating likely higher levels. 200 moving average also pointing higher. Just need the moving average to turn around, and they could do that slowly here over the course of the next couple of weeks. High high, high low, high high, high low, and high high. So we are in a bullish trend, and it's confirmed. It's just a little bit exhausting at the moment, so a little bit cautious there. Euro sterling tested support here at 87 and a quarter, and this spike down there, and then we have bounced. I think if it takes it out, if RSI closes below 40 threshold, well, then suddenly we could see Euro sterling in the region around 86.5 down here. There's not much support other than the 100 moving average there. However, if it bounces and takes out 88, well, then uptrend has resumed. Dollar yen testing once again. Yesterday it did it, and this morning it seems to break below the 38.2 retracement. I think we could see it pushing lower. We can also see RSIs in a dive here. We could see it down to around 152.80, possibly dipping a little bit lower to 152.50. But here we have the 55 moving average coming up, adding to the support around these levels. We could also turn around here at 153.60, but I'm not quite sure. Maybe we'll have a little bit of exhaustion and then we will have a bounce. So, but again, key towards what's going on. Or will it bounce now? I think we will see it a little bit lower there. Euro yen still humming sideways between 179.75 and 182. Breakout, it will tell you about the direction. Will it test the lower rising trend line, or will it break higher? Aussie yen still forming this rising wedge-like pattern there in an exhaustion move. You can see RSI declining, but market moved higher. So divergence, as we call it, it's an imbalance in the strength indicator in the market, and it's a sign of uptrend exhaustion. But it doesn't tell us exactly when it will turn around. It's just about that it's a warning signal, really. Sterling yen, well, couldn't really follow through here. So, but as long as we keep it keep itself above 205, 205.19 to be exact. So I will always extract a little bit. Then I think we're still in a bullish trend, and we are, but it's just fragile. Also here we see we have falling RSI, market moved higher. So also in an exhaustion mode at the moment. Doesn't mean it can't move higher. It can certainly do so. So be careful. If it takes out the peaks here from the past few days, well, then there's still room up to around 208. Aussie dollar testing the resistance there at 66.30. Could set back a little bit, but look at this RSI pointing to much higher levels, and I think it will take it out eventually, and then we could be looking at 67, these peaks up around here in a bullish mood. However, we could see a bit of correction, so be careful. We could see a bit of correction from here, and what you can do if you work with it, if it starts looking to retrace a bit, like it will trace a bit, we can see then maybe I don't think it will get all the way down to 65.50, but let's see, it could do so. We have the 55 and the 100 moving turning around here, so it's further supporting higher levels on Aussie dollar. Dollar Canada testing the lows here. We can adjust this a little bit because we apparently do not have the lows in place just yet. But it's certainly trying to form a bottom here with the RSI also testing 40 threshold. It hasn't really bounced off, but I think it will do that. But let's see. There's still risk down to below the cloud and below 139. But then we have the 100 moving average coming up, giving some support, and this spike down here from back in October, that is also adding a little bit of a support. So let's see, maybe it can dip lower before it turns around, but in the bigger picture it's actually in this big range here between a little bit below 139, 138.85 and 141.30, but we need to navigate within these boundaries. Sterling Canada spiked higher yesterday but couldn't stay above. RSI needs to get back above 60 threshold to really establish a bullish trend that is meaningful. I think we will see it because now we can see 55 moving average turning around. We have 100 also turning rising here, so there is a good chance that it will crawl higher towards 188 here going into next week possibly, and as long as it stays above 184 and a quarter, we are actually in a slightly bullish trend. Just need confirmation with RSI above 60 threshold. Euro Swiss at around the 200 moving average at the moment. I think it will. There is potential at least up to a 93, 85, 94 level. Positive sentiment on the RSI bullish trend is indicating that direction, and there's actually possibility to even up to around 94, 94.40, 94.50 maybe even in these regions here and these levels we see from over there. But it's not like it's not a sprint. It takes some time. It could be knocked down a little bit here and then have another go at it. Dollar Swiss that bounced yesterday from the 50%, which is not something we see that often in the FX market. That is the 50% correction. But if it takes out the lows from the past few days, well, then we are looking lower to 79.60. But it seems like we are bouncing. Still positive sentiment on the RSI. Could crawl higher here in the coming days. So keep an eye on that, what it will do. But it really needs to push higher. Let's see if we add this one, then we can work with that and say, all right, if it takes out the 61.8 retracement there at 80.60, then I think we'll see it re-establishing the bullish trend. But for now, a little bit depressed there. Dollar index, the 55 moving average really adding to the support, despite the fact that closing below the support there at 98.87. It is not the strongest support, of course, but it is there. So spiking below a couple of times, there is potential down to 98.35. But key is, will RSI push below? It actually closed below a 40 threshold there, so we are technically in a negative sentiment. If it moves back below again, then I think we'll see a sell-off down to around 98.35, maybe even down to around 98, these lows here. If it can bounce. The 200 moving average is apparently too strong, but you can see there's a battle between the moving average, so we can be stuck in this range here for quite some time, so be careful. Suddenly, oh, it will sell off, oh, it will bounce, and then you can easily be whipsawed, so be careful about that. Moving on to the metals market and commodities markets, and the gold, of course. Will it start crawling higher and really push higher towards? I think it will do so, but I want confirmation. That's how I work. But it's up to you really. Will you start to jump on the bandwagon here and crawl higher, because it is in a bullish trend? Higher high, higher low, higher high, slightly higher high. Positive sentiment on the RSI. A confirmation would be that if it can take out this peak up there at 42.64 and a bit, so 42.65, well, then there's room up to 4,400. Silver. Yesterday it looked like it would form a top and reversal pattern, but now it seems like buyers are back in lifting it. There was risk down to around $55, but it apparently never did that. It can still do it if it takes out the lows here from yesterday. Then we will see it most likely. But if it takes out the peak there just below 59, well, then we are looking at 60 plus level. Exhausting indication with the RSI declining. But again, we can still move higher. So the trend is your friend. And for now, it seems fairly strong, despite there's some warning signals out there. Platinum. Well, still needs to get a back above that level there to at 1734 to really push higher. But we are in a bullish trend, and there's no divergence on. There's slightly divergence on the RSI, but you can see all moving averages pointing to higher level, also supporting that. Copper on the move, and I think sometime next week we could reach the 786 retracement there at 561 of this entire bearish sell-off there, this sell-off there back in July. Positive sentiment on the RSI, no divergence pointing to much higher levels on copper. The crude oil and here WTI, well, still in a bearish trend. It could still bounce up to 60.5, but I think eventually downtrend will resume. Brent Crude oil, same picture obviously. Moving on to nat gas, we have European nat gas that is being sold off once again below that support. So now we are back in the region here with back from Q2 last year and even in Q1 last year. These lows here around 22.30 is the next big support for EU nat gas. US nat gas, on the other hand, still pushing higher above $5 and could push higher. It is a little bit stressed, as we can see here on the RSI, indicating top exhaustion or bullish exhaustion. But again, very strong bullish trend indeed. So we could push higher also. There will be some support, and let's just do it. There will a little bit of support there at around 470, 468. But for now, still bullish trend. On the interest rate side, we have the US 10-year Treasury yields pushing higher here. Could re-establish bullish trend, but it still needs to get above these 420. That would be key, and we still have the 100 moving average pushing lower there. So it will take some time. We could be caught range bound in this region between 420 and 405 for some time. We see 55 moving average, a little bit of support. So not that clear of a picture, but let's have a look at what's going on other. Here we have the 30-year US Treasury 30-year that's been in a falling trend here for quite some time, but it seems to be crawling higher. And if it takes out that spike up there at 478, well, then we'll most likely test that falling trend line there. So that is something to watch if you are into the longer term yields. EU 10-year pushing towards 280, maybe 283 level, but 280 seems to be it has set its eye on, and I think we'll reach it fairly soon, possibly next week. UK 10 really depressed there still. It's amazing that it can do that. So really not much to talk about. Still in this range here, 437 and up to 460. The Japanese still crawling higher. It won't take long possibly before it reaches 2%, and that will be a big thing for Japan, but they haven't seen that in decades. Finally, on crypto, established the bullish trend, higher high, higher low, higher high. Can it follow through with a move up to 98,000 on Bitcoin? That'll be the key question here over the weekend, maybe going into next week. Ethereum rejected first at the 38.2, there 3,244. If it takes out that, then we're looking at 3,600 plus. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day and nice weekend, and be careful out there with these fairly volatile markets.